Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Backstick Podcast. I'm Jamil Roberts, and I'm joined here as usual by Mr. Dom Okus. Domo, firstly, how are you? And secondly, where are you in the world right now, mate? Because you're all over the shop, you.
Yeah, good mate. Just landed in London today. Literally landed, went into the office where I work to give a presentation, took a nap, and now I'm here to have this wonderful conversation. And it's funny, I'm going back to Austin in like 4 days, so I'm literally in and out.
Wow.
But I'm really looking forward to this conversation. But Jam, before we jump in, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I've had a long day. I've had a long couple of days, actually. But busy's good. We got a game tomorrow night. And yeah, just keep pushing and plugging away, man. The season's nearly done here in England, so yeah, it's good to speak to old friends like we are today. And this player, this man that we've got on the pod today, he's a mutual friend of a couple of friends of the pod. So it's my pleasure to introduce Union Omaha's Mr. Marco Milanese. Marco, how are you, mate?
Hi guys, everything's good. Thank you for inviting me again. Very excited to be here. I've been watching some of the episodes. As you said, like I watched some of the Pedro's episodes, Declan's episodes. So I'm excited to be sharing some stories with you guys.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Yeah, you brought up obviously to Pedro there, and Pedro was actually who introduced us. And we were just chatting off air about how for me, Omaha away was my favourite away trip last season because obviously Pedro was there, and then Max, came on loan to you guys, and obviously introduced me to yourself. Um, had no idea until I turned up that you went to school with Declan as well. So we're involved in good people, right?
For sure, we are. It's as you said, like Pedro. I mean, these last couple of years has been like very exciting to be with him. We've been together basically every day, every day. So he was a great friend. And Declan, of course, we've been together in Akron for 3 years. So no, really like great guys. Love to play with them and against them. Professional and non-professional level as well. So and we got to meet each other. Like we also play against each other in college, but we actually meet each other when we played professional here in the USL. So it was amazing, as you said, like amazing trips here to Omaha, amazing trips there to Chattanooga. So it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, mate, 100%, 100%. And it's funny, like Dom, we talk about it all the time about football being a small world, but I mean, like, these conversations wouldn't happen without football, right? Like, and you think about it, the like how diverse and how many players are in the USL nowadays from different backgrounds. Like, I mean, I know you didn't play in the USL Championship or League One yourself, but like even me and you going to school in West Virginia, two lads from England met each other, and now we run a podcast together. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad. And it's like even I think about it, right? So you think about our first episode on the pod, Keziah's played for Spurs, a couple of years younger than me, so he would have been coached by and played with a bunch of the boys that I was in the Spurs academy with, and then ends up meeting you in America, and we end up all meeting on the pod, right? Like, and how crazy is that? So
yeah,
yeah, football's super small.
yeah. But it's a good world to be in, man. It's a good world to be in. And I mean, for those that aren't familiar with Marco, if you're listening or if you're watching, I'm sure by now you can tell that the man is very Italian. So so the man's he's come up. He played for various teams in his youth in Italy. Now finds himself in Omaha. So I actually want to take you back for the beginning of the show, right? And I want to just kind of talk about you when you were a kid and sort of growing up playing and correct me if I'm wrong, but you played for Chievo, Parma, Torino, and then found yourself at Napoli. So, what was it like, obviously playing
Yes.
at big clubs like that as a kid, and moving around a fair bit as well. Was there any reason why you sort of jumped
For
around as a
sure.
kid to different clubs?
For sure. So Kievo, it was actually like I didn't play for Kievo. It was kind of like a long tryout. I was there for like 2 months. But it wasn't like real actually under contract with them. So I would take them out. But for sure, like Parma, I remember it was the year that they failed, so they went bankrupt. So at the end of the year, all the contracts went out. They get relegated to I think fourth division. So we were forced to leave, as an academy player if you wanted to stay. Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess. I have some crazy stories about the year. Like we didn't have anything since like January. We didn't have rides to the stadium from school. We didn't have like people that washes our clothes. It was a mess, a mess. Like and it was my first year like as a in a professional academy away from home. So it was, I would say, a very, learning moment to, take care of yourself. It was good. And then from Torino, I stayed 6 months, but I was playing in a division that was not the top under 19. It was kind of like a lower division with them. It was kind of like under 18. So in January, basically, I stayed 6 months, and in January, Napoli told me like, "Oh, you wanna come play for us in the top division?" I was like, "Yeah," and then I was close to home, so I was like, I took the opportunity, to go back. Um, and luckily, like it went very good, and I end up like also doing some appearances with the first team, so it was like a very good choice for me. But yes, moving around, it was not easy, but at the same time, I think it helped me, getting better in socializing with the very different players, also like meeting different players, meeting different people wherever I went. So it was a very good experience to grow as a man, from boy as a man. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that for sure. Um,
Just
and of course, it wasn't easy
that's a
because
quick.
I was always far from home. Yes, sorry.
Oh no, sorry, mate. I was just gonna say a quick question from me on that. Like, so when Napoli approach you, obviously you're young, right? It's youth football under 15, 16s, maybe 17s, 18s. You got an agent, or are they just
Mm.
like tapping you up on the side of the pitch? Like, how does it work?
No, I had an agent. I had an agent at the time. It was no important agent, but it was like a guy that followed me since I was before, so since Parma, and he's the one that helped me go to Torino first, and then this guy from Napoli, I think he was like a manager from the youth academies, texted him, and he saw that I was there like. I wanted like before that, of course, I told to my dad like I want to play in the top division. Like here, I don't think like is I'm wasting time kind of because I was wasting a year, and they made it happen basically. Yeah.
Plus, plus. And just one more question: do they have to pay for you then at that age, like, or you can just decide to go to Napoli
So
and kind of just play?
so you have like different options, but I did I signed kind of like an article like or something about my contract could like basically you sign this stuff the as I say the team signs this stuff as well, and like you're free. I don't know how to call it, like I think it was article 72 or something like that. I don't know what was the name, but it basically gives you the chance. It just works with the academies though, with the academies. Yeah.
Got it, got
So
it, got it.
luckily they didn't have to pay for sure.
Yeah, and you kind of before we sort of dug into that there, you sort of alluded to the fact that you had some opportunities with the first team at Napoli. So one thing I always like to find out about lads, because I always remember my first training session with Plymouth Argyle's first team in England, and let's just say it didn't go so well. I was chasing shadows, mate. So, you know, not necessarily your first game, but like the first time that you're called into first team training with Napoli. How did it go? What was that feeling like? Do you
Uh,
remember like anything distinctively about that day?
it was. I remember very well, and it wasn't as you say, like an enjoy. Like I was happy. I was happy to be there, but at the same time, it was awful. Like it was, when you make like the reserve team, you practice with reserve team. So some of the guys used to be called from the under 19 to go with the first team to do like the 5v5, 7v7, whatever it is. That was the worst days you can be in the pitch. Like players that are mad, they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Everything is your fault, crazy tackles. You have to just just play and don't say anything. Like it was crazy. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
literally. Mate, one thing I always like to talk about is like, did you guys do rondos before you went over or no?
Yes, we did rondos. Not every time, but yes, we did some rondos. Of course, you don't even have to say like I would already like walk in the middle of the rondo to grab the penny. Like you don't even say like for sure, for sure. Like you don't even have to say anything.
Yeah,
Crazy. Or like
honestly.
the two
And
touches we used to do. The two touches on the ground, bro, shooting at me, bro, shooting. Crazy.
Oh mate, it's
Sure.
so funny.
it's so funny because it doesn't matter whether you're in England, whether you're in Italy or anywhere. Everyone's got the same stories about how just the senior lads they just take advantage of you in those moments. Right? You have a season ticket in the middle of the rondo. You're doing two touch and they're shooting at your shins like it's
Everything is your
the
fault.
same thing. Yeah,
Literally, literally.
Crazy.
Oh, mate, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. So, all right. So, thinking back, then I know obviously you were called in to do some, you know, I guess reserve sessions, shall we call it?
Mhm.
What about you mentioned there that you had some opportunities to play in and around the first team, right, and make some appearances.
Mhm.
So in the days leading up and sort of on those early games that you played as a young boy, who were some of your teammates and who were we'll get into it a little bit deeper later in the show, but some of the players that really took you aside and looked after you in that first team.
Okay. So there was one guy that he was also like my roommate when we used to be on the road or like when we had double sessions. His name was Diavara. He played for Roma, Anderlecht now. I don't know where is he at now, but he was also young. He was 97, so he was very good player at the time because he used to play with them, and we used to hang out a little bit more with him. Um, but from the main guys, I would say the best one that like used to talk to me and like made me understand that I was lucky to be there. Like he was Mertens. Mertens was for sure like when we used to do like before like the session we used to some gym. Like he was coming and telling me like, oh, you need to come earlier, you need to make the coach see you're working more, so like you get more chances. Because of course I was getting called with them at the beginning, but I was still like I was not changing with them. I was changing in other locker. And then like the more you go, of course, then the more you get used to be there, and you get called like also like be in the main locker. Then you start getting something. But at the beginning, it's not easy, not easy. This player, like I would say him, Mertens, also like Zeliski was also young because he's 96, so at the time we used to hang out with him a little bit more.
Yeah, mate. Well, you've name dropped a couple of good ones there. I mean,
Mm,
Mertens was some player, man, wasn't he?
that was good.
So good
That
Poor.
was good.
unbelievable player. Like wow.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah, I
know?
don't appreciate that year. It was good.
It's fun. It's funny because like me when I was your age, mate. Like I was playing with Mertens on FIFA, and you like he was putting his arm around you in the gym. Like,
But you know, I
Come
was doing
on.
the same thing, but I was doing the same thing like 3 months before. Like it was crazy. It was
oh,
crazy.
mate, football works in mysterious ways, and
Yes.
Obviously, in that time as well, I just wanted to touch on, did you made a few appearances, right, for the youth national teams for Italy and whatnot. Were they
Yeah.
just kind of camps, or were they, any tournaments or
They
whatever
were
that you played
camps.
in?
They were camps. It was not official matches. It was camps when I was in the under 16 or 17. I think 16 for the national team. But I was playing with the under 17 of Parma though. So it was
Right.
like 1 year before. Yeah.
Yeah. And
It was games against, I don't even remember, like it was how do you say it in English? Macedonia, I think.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we did like some camps at the beginning and then some friendly games against them. Great experience. Great experience.
Yeah,
I
I can
wish I would have
imagine,
done
mate.
more.
Yeah, mate, I can
Uh,
imagine.
when you hear the
Like we've
national
had.
anthem, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
mate, that
crazy.
was just literally just what I was about to say, mate. Like I'm trying to think back now, obviously, but Dom, like we've had Kaza, who's played for England youth national team. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously Grivo with
Grievo, yeah. Full
Like New
national team.
Zealand, yeah, like
Wow.
just like hearing like that's why I asked, mate, because like I can't even imagine the feeling of representing your country and hearing the national anthem. And I even go like as deep into like England played the other night and we played was it out no, it wasn't Albania. Who
Uh,
did Reece James
what?
Reece James free kick?
Uh, I wanted to say, because you said Albania, I wanted to say Albania, but that was the first game.
Yeah. I can't
Let me
remember.
check.
Latvia.
Latvia.
Yeah. So we
Latvia.
just played them in the World Cup qualifier, right? And like when I talk about like how proud I would be, I was annoyed. I was screaming at the TV because Reece James has just scored one of the best free kicks that Wembley's ever seen, and he walked off and he wasn't even smiling. And I'm screaming at the TV like thinking if that was me, like all of my clothes would be off, like I'd be running around Wembley, like you know.
It's
And
true
he
though.
just walked off like it was another day at the office. It really rattled me.
Yeah, it's mad. It's actually mad. I would have done about 75 knee slides. Like just all over. Every corner of the pitch,
Up and
knee
down, up
slide.
and down.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, like, yeah, I can't
I'm a
imagine.
player that I celebrate when I score in practice. So I imagine like if I score like I go like this in the Wembley Stadium.
Hey, mate. Me and you are defenders. To be fair, I mean, Dom dropped back into centre half a bit in his later career. So there's three defenders here, mate. We don't score many, so when we do, we make the most of it.
Yeah,
For sure.
literally.
For sure.
Literally.
For sure.
Yeah, mate. And I guess that's a good place for us to move on, right? Because you make the move over to the States, and I don't want to kind of dwell too much on your college career. Obviously, you played with Akron, you played at UNCG, but why did you make that decision? Why was America the one for you after Italy? Was there just kind of not much opportunity there for you, or was it somewhere that you always saw yourself, potentially exploring the option?
No, I didn't see it before. Like I remember the day I got in contact with the college world. It was like I wrote an article from on the journal of this guy that he actually was playing for Lazio, and he
Mm.
decided to come to US. So I was like, oh, I read the article, tell to my dad. I was like, this guy went from under 19 Lazio to the college. Like it's crazy. It was the first, probably one of the first guy that did that in Italy. We're talking about 2016. So that's how I started to know about this world. But then it was very acting very quickly because what happened with me in Napoli was basically like talking about the agents, we did before. Like after I moved let's say with the first team in Napoli, I got a very good agent. Which had a lot of Serie A players. And basically, what happened, it was trying to renew the contract for another player that was in the first team of Napoli, and I had to sign a new contract as well. And basically, what happened, it was like they got in a fight, my agent and the director, which was Giuntoli at the time, which is the Juventus one now. They got in a fight, and Giuntoli was like, "Okay, then we're not gonna deal with you and any of your players." And I got like in the yeah. So
Oh
I
my
was waiting, like
God.
I was in school. I did all the exams for my last year of high school like very quickly, because they say like we have to call you for the preseason, after and it was like starting in July, beginning of July. So I was like did everything with school to make it like the first to do the exams and everything, and then July 1st I was waiting like this, no calls. July 2nd, July 3rd, July 10th, without saying anything. My agent didn't tell me anything until like I see July 10th, which was the date when the guys with no contract list come out. It's like basically like we didn't renew the contract of this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and I see my names in the no contracts. I
Oh,
was crazy. I was like furious, furious, because it's something you cannot control. It's something that it's part of soccer. It's part of the football world. Um, so after that I was like very very mad that the whole system, not only like my agent, I was like, fuck, what did I play for until now, if these things happened. And then like I remember I had some offers from third division in Italy, but also there like it was a period where like the pay were not good enough, especially because the player that don't have contract, they have to pay it, compared to guys that maybe they go on loan from, I don't know, from Napoli, from Milan, from Parma. They go on loan, so they don't have to pay it. So they don't want to
yeah.
take guys that don't have contracts. So they were like, yes, we can give you just this though, or like, I don't know, something like that, like this type of offers where it's not really a project behind you. It's just like finding a team. And then I decide like, okay, that I'll contact this agency. I want to go to US. And my dad was like, what? Where are you going? you know? But now we always say like, oh, Mark, you did a great decision. So that's why I came to US. But let's say because I was mad, at the system in Europe, in Italy, most of it.
Mate.
Crazy, crazy story. And I think what's interesting to me is that it doesn't sound like, I don't know, right? But it doesn't sound like you didn't get a contract because you weren't good enough. It sounds like you didn't get a contract because your agent and the club just weren't getting along, which is even
Yeah,
more frustrating, right? If it was just a thing of like, listen, we don't think Marco is good enough, we think he should continue his footballing journey somewhere else. But it's more so just they couldn't agree terms for whatever reason. And you couldn't even be privy to the situation to like, even push your agent out of the way and be like, listen, like, what are you
yeah,
offering? Like, let's talk. So it's super frustrating.
Yeah. And that's
yeah,
the politics of football that sometimes, I mean, it happens at all levels, right? It
For
happens in League
sure.
One, it happens in Championship, it happens in MLS, it happens in all levels of football, even down to the the semi-professional level. Sometimes people from the outside, they don't realize the politics that goes into football and how people get contracts and why some people seem to maintain a career. I mean, I guarantee you that all three of us could sit here and we could do an entire podcast on the players that we've seen in our lifetime, and we go, how did he not make it pro, or how did he not play in the Premier League or in Serie A or in MLS? Do you know what I mean? And then
100%.
and then on the flip side of it, we could probably do another podcast on players that you go, how the fuck did he make it there? Or how is he fucking doing that? Like,
I have a lot.
and
Crazy.
yeah, man, like this. Listen, everyone's got their path, and some people it's meant to be, and some people it's not, and like, but when it's taken out of your hands, mate, like that's when it's the most frustrating. But yeah, mate, crazy story, and listen, like,
Yeah, but that's football. That's football. That's
yeah,
football.
Mhm.
that
You have to
is,
know it. The thing is, like, they don't prepare you for it. When you're a kid, you think, oh, your dream, that's your dream. You're gonna play good, you're gonna get your chance. If you play good, you're gonna play there. But at the same time, it's a very dirty world behind it, I would say.
for
Yeah.
sure.
One thing I do want to talk about quickly before we dive into your kind of professional career here in the US is, how did you find adjusting from Italy to the US? The reason I asked the question is because, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying, but my close mate Luca that I went to college with from Rome, I think he was actually in Lazio's academy, funny enough, as a kid. He moves over, and in his freshman year, in the spring after the season, he's probably put on 20 pounds because he's just going to Walmart, drinking Coke, eating a bunch of
Damn.
Kit Kats and Doritos. Like he was just loving it. He was just like, "Oh man, like we don't have all this stuff at home." Like, and he was just indulging in Kinder Buenos and all this kind of crazy stuff. So, like, did
Crazy.
you have a similar experience? Maybe not that doing that, but like a massive shift in what you were used to at home versus America.
For sure, it was. I remember, like, especially because I came in a little bit arrogant, like in the college world. Like, I came in like thinking it was gonna be easy, because honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know the level. I didn't know. I never watched a college game before. So I came in, and I remember, and also like this, the football we play in US is different from the football we used to in Italy. Like a lot of pressing, like high intensity transitional. Like in Italy, you don't see a transitional, even if you try, you play transition. Like it's always
Yeah.
like
Don't see
you
a
stay
centre midfielder
back,
sprint, do
like
you?
try to break us down. That's how we play. But so I can it was not in terms of food. I always like being like a guy that very that pay attention to what I eat. I never been like a guy that likes too much chocolate, obviously. So I didn't put weight, but I remember the first month to adjust to the different like transitional game. I was like, what's going on in the game? Like I was dead. The big test, crazy. The big test, like I failed like 3 times. I had to do it in Akron. They were crazy. Crazy.
Oh my god. Oi,
For
we've had
sure.
this conversation about pre-season fitness before, and listen, this guy right here, you two can relate to each other when it comes to fitness tests.
Yeah, I'm not on it.
Bro,
I'm not on it. I hate what, but like, listen, I'm not a Farah. I'm meant to play football. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
we're
what's
not
in this
track and
long
field
distance
play.
running? Yeah, like, we're here to play football. We're playing football or not. Like, yeah, I can run a bit and I'm fit enough to finish the game, but all of these stupid tests that we were doing, man, I was just like, let's just get them done so we can
Crazy.
kick a ball, man.
I don't know about the gym, but also the gym for me, like it was a crazy shock. Like I was doing like power cliff, like hanging like this. I couldn't even do it. I never done it in my life. I was like, what are we doing here? It looked like the Marines. And then in Akron they shaved our head. In Akron the freshmen they shave our head, bro. Lifting crazy. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, mate, that
Crazy.
Akron tradition is insane. I've had this conversation
Insane.
with Declan before, and honestly, mate, like I don't know what your hairline's saying. Dom, you've got a good hairline, but I swear to God, if I moved over to the US and I'd gone to Akron, I swear to God, I wouldn't. I would have said I'm not playing. I'm transferring. I'm not shaving my head. I promise you. And I've always
That's
been so dead serious about this because I would never recover.
that's true.
And I'm
It's true.
sorry, a semester of college soccer is not worth my hairline for the rest of my life.
Facts.
For sure.
Like, I'm the
For
same way.
sure.
So back in the day at my college, they used to shave heads, and I've always said if that was still a thing when I got there, I probably just would have been ousted by the team because I would have just been like wrong and strong and just been like, I'm not doing it. So what are we doing now?
Yeah, like there's one thing for me doing an initiation song, right? Like I mean, personally, I love them. I think they're
Yeah,
they're funny, a good crack, whatever. But like to do an initiation of shaving someone's head, like come on now, like
you're
that's not
taking
me.
it
I'm
too
not.
far.
I'm not on that. I'll pay
Yeah,
whatever you want. I'll pay whatever fine
yeah, I agree.
because
I'm the
because
same.
this is not recovering.
No, it was trust me, it was a big fight. People coming and cutting my hair, but then
Hey,
the
it
seniors
looks.
like, oh, you're not part of the team if you don't do it. You just came to US, like you don't want to feel like isolated after 3 days you're there. So that was crazy.
For
It was
sure.
Uh,
fuck crazy. Oh man.
yeah, it's a crazy tradition. We did it at Chattanooga. Um, and I personally didn't agree with it, but all of the like the lads that were basically their first professional games, their professional debut. They shaved like it was like a club tradition to shave the lad's head, and this was last season, mate. So we had a lad, Stefan Svetanovic, who was 27, who made his professional debut, and the lads were on about shaving his head. And I turned around to him and I said, Steph, you're 27 years of age. Do not give in to these like 22, 23-year-old boys that are telling you to shave your head. Like, just say no. Like, and he didn't do it, thank God. But like, yeah,
Professional is crazy though.
Yeah, mate. Nah, I
Also,
couldn't.
that's like a big moment, right? You want pictures and stuff. You don't want to have like your patchy, bold, lumpy head on display in your first professional game. Like, what the hell?
No, but the bad part is not even like getting bald, like getting shaved. The bad part was like for 3 days you had a bad haircut in Akron. Like it's not just shaving there. Like I had like all here it was bald and just so I had just this hair, you know. So like if you see me from up front, it was good, and then turn around, I was all no hats. You have to go in class, no hats. Crazy. If they see you with the hats, like you have to pay fine.
Oh my God.
That's so good.
See, like, it's funny. Don't get me wrong, it's funny, but like, if it was me, not a chance. I'm transferring.
Look who's calling. Look who's calling.
Yeah. Pedro.
Pedro's calling.
Hey.
Oh my God. The man. I'll call you later.
What a legend. Did you see he scored his first goal the other day, yeah?
What a player. What a player.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but because he was in Brazil for his visa.
Yeah.
He called me, was like, oh Marco, I just came like Thursday, practiced like 2 days, and I'm going to the game. Came in like 20 minutes, scored the win, the first win of the year for them. Legend.
Mate, what a guy. What a guy,
Too
man.
easy. Too easy.
Honestly, like, yeah, what a guy. I love him. I love him so much. It's just,
What a guy.
I've got nothing but beautiful words to say about that, man. I hope he's watching.
For sure.
But let's get back to you, mate, and just kind of touch over, obviously, you boys at Omaha, like, let's call a spade. Best team in the league last year, won the double. Obviously, with all everything surrounding, the updates and health of Mishak as well, it must have been, just kind of give us a little reflection on what must have been like a special year for you boys in more ways than one.
No, as you said, special year, but for many reasons. For many reasons, I would say, first of all, as you said, for Mishak, which was like a devastating news when we heard it the first time. Like for everyone, like like coaches, staff members, like the people in the office, everyone was feeling it, like that we had to do it for him. We had to win for him. We had to make the year remarkable for him, because it was a very, very hard moment for him, for his family, and for all the team, honestly. Like every time we would go in the field, like thinking about him every time. And if you see in fact, like when Pedro scored, like in the final, which is a great moment for yourself, the first thing he did, it was like went and kissed the Mishak jersey, and so for that he was like, that's why, like I said it also in another podcast, like before the final we already knew we would have win. Like there was no chance we would lose that game, because we had a higher purpose. And also, like besides set things, it was, I think, like a special team, because we felt like a family. Like you have been around us when we like not on the field, so you felt kind of like they were kind of like brothers, going to the field and like just enjoying playing together, and also like you didn't want how do you say, give up on them during the game. You were able to make that tackle, score that goal, because you wanted to do it for your friends, not only for your job. That's why, like, I think it was the real difference with other teams, but and then of course we had as you said we had like good players that like I would say like we had good experience in terms of like guys that play in MLS like Mishak, like PC at the beginning of the year, Steven Dos Santos that was like a leader, like 35 years old. I remember 85 minutes, lost the ball, sprinting all the way back to get it, like 35 yards. Like if you see this stuff, like you're gonna win. There's no other like no way you can lose because if he does it, you have to do it like double. Because I'm 20, 25, he's 10 years away, 10 years older than me. So we had very, very good leaders, I would say, and a mix of leaders, experience, talent. It was a very, very good team. Very, very good team.
Yeah, mate, 100%. And obviously, we've had this conversation with Pedro as well, and he echoed everything that you've just said. You know what I mean? And like you said, like I was fortunate enough to not only obviously play against you boys last year, but you know, be with you boys off the pitch as well. And you're spot on. Like if you compare like how your group was with each other, you know, there was like 13, 14 Omaha guys, you know, in the apartment,
Yeah.
everyone chatting with each other. And then realistic with us, like there was three or four Chattanooga players, you know, whereas I can imagine some away trips for you boys was a little bit more together when you maybe made some activities outside of the hotel.
Yeah.
So
I
you know,
like how
and
you
then
described it. I like it.
yeah,
Some team
but
bonding.
yeah, some team bonding.
They used to call it team bonding.
But mate, and like one of my favorite memories, and you just reminded me there, like off the when we were talking before the episode started, but it was the game where it was one of the Jägermeister Cup games where you guys beat
Yes.
us, and you've got five or six Chattanooga players and like 11, 12 Omaha players sat in Pedro's apartment, and we're all watching the highlights of the game we played earlier and just like cracking jokes
Amazing.
about it, you know, like whatever. And that
Amazing.
like that energy that you boys had, it was just infectious. Like, do you know what I mean? It felt like such a good group to be a part of.
No, no, as you said, it was amazing, amazing. And like honestly, like it wasn't the same with every team, of course. Like with you guys, I don't know, maybe because we had some teammates in common, like so it was, in the game, it was fights and everything, of course, like because you're there to win, but after the game, friends and it's a good side of the sport, that you don't see often. You don't see often. And it was amazing to watch the game together like after and like make comments. It's something that I never done it before, so it was like an amazing experience. I couldn't believe it. We were doing that, so it was amazing.
No,
It
I've
was
never done
amazing.
it before, and I doubt I'll do it again, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly.
Um, yeah, mate. And obviously, you know, we're looking back, so you know, it'd only be right now to sort of look forward. And you know, you're back. You signed your new contract with Omaha, and you know, so obviously the gaffer's back. You know, Dom's back in Omaha. Re-signed yourself, and you've kept a good core group together. I know there's been a few that have left the club, but you know what do you see as kind of the future for Omaha now? You know, on the field. I know you're going into what third season with the club, so you know, obviously you're becoming kind of a an important player in more ways than one for the club moving it forward. So, you know, what do you see and what's your all of your ambitions for 2025?
No, for sure. Like it's now when you're third year player, you start to be, as you say, like important for different reasons. Like you're not only like when I first came in, I was just try to earn a spot, earn a job, and try to play my best. Now I have a little bit more responsibilities, which is something that like it's not the first time I've been like like in leadership groups and stuff before. So it's something that it's not the first time doing it, but I know it's a hard job. Like it's not easy because you need to be an example for everyone every day in practice and in the game, of course. So as you said, yeah, we kept a core group. We have 14 players returning, which is a good amount of players in this league. But at the same time, we had like 10 new players, which is almost half of the team. So it's important now for us moving forward, that we create the same setup we had in the same year, the last years, which is like creating like kind of family environment, like people that love what we do. We love to come in and like do our best, because I think that's what Dom, our coach, is good to make, create this family environment, like where people care about each other and want to give 100% for the guy next to you. That's what we're trying to do now, and creating that chemistry that was part of our success. And of course, then we have to be good players in the field and like make good decision. That comes with right now there's high pressure because you're coming from a double season when you've been successful the last 2 seasons. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's gonna be like a tough year. It's gonna be because the pressure is on top, and every team wants to beat us now. So you're gonna get the best game from every team in the league. So it's gonna be even more difficult, I would say, than the previous years.
Yeah.
Just a quick question on that. Is that something you will speak about? The fact that you kind of won the double last year and there's going to be a lot of expectation. Do you talk about, trying to replicate that success, or do you just take it kind of game by game?
It's of course it's the objective of this club every year to win. Like they're being used to to win almost every year here. So it's not, of course, uh, like you feel too much pressure. So it's not like they're like, okay, we have to win like this, like. But at the same time, like you feel kind of like some responsibilities, because for what the other guys, and myself have done in the past years, then the new guys feel this pressure. They don't want to have a bad year, So like it's kind of like feeding off the success, feeding off each other. I don't know how to say it, but it's kind of like the standards that we established in the previous year. The lads, feel this pressure to keep the standards high. That's what we're trying to do with the new guys that came in, because it's it's what we're trying to establish with the guys that are not being part of this team from the previous year. So it's not easy. It's not easy because we don't have like a long preseason like in Europe. Like it's like 1 month probably of preseason, so where we have to try and build this chemistry, build this mentality. But it's what we always said. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Like my first year, the until June we've been like we were like third to last, and then when we clicked, end up winning all the games, like 12 games in a row, top of the league. And then it was for me that after having done that, I'm not afraid. Even if we lose it the first game, it's fine. Like we just need to start working harder and getting ready for when the real games come. you
For
know
sure. No, for sure. Makes sense.
Mate. And I mean, you're spot on, and that's kind of how American sports are kind of set up, right? Like, not necessarily the team that's the best the whole year isn't always the one that lifts the big one,
for
you know?
sure, for sure.
So, it's a little bit of a weird adjustment, I think. For me, like, I found it a bit
Same.
strange. But, at the end of the day, it doesn't make the champagne taste any worse when you lift the trophy at the end of the year if you weren't first the whole season. So,
For sure.
nah, I'm sure you boys will smash it. Like you said, the club's ever since its first years. I mean, I remember Ilau was the centre back for the first 2 years of Omaha, and they were up the top end of the year even in the first year, let alone the years now. So success is kind of instilled in the club, and I'm sure you'll carry it on this season with the new crop. Um, but I think that's a good time for us to kind of move on to our, I guess what we like to call it is our staple piece of the show, Mila. So I'm actually
Okay.
going to hand you over to Dom, and he's going to
Yes.
take you through extra time on the Backstick podcast.
Oh man,
Nice.
we're really getting into our groove with this thing, man. So, Mila, if you're not familiar, this is our long-standing tradition on the Backstick podcast, where I take you
Okay.
through four questions. I am your host with the most. on the social medias, the Instagrams, the Twitters, and the YouTubes. They're calling me Steve Harvey with a skin fade. If you're watching this on YouTube now, this is why. This is why
Shut
the
up!
gradient is mental. But anyway, listen, I'm gonna take you through it. But if you've made it this far and I've made you laugh, I need you to click the subscribe button. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple, go and smash a follow, go and smash a like, go and smash a subscribe because I know everyone's really enjoying the content. Now, Mila, our first
Yes.
question is, who is the best player you've played with?
Play with, that's a lot. That's a tough question. Damn. I want to say a
You're gonna,
center back
you're gonna,
because I
you're gonna upset
I
some
I
people. It's okay.
always like um it's not like you're gonna probably say what, but I mean not really, but it was a great for me like great example like for how I play, the way I play was Raul Albiol when we were in Napoli.
Wow.
Wow.
Crazy player.
I mean,
Never missed a
I
pass.
Yeah.
mean, fantastic career, right? Like played
Yes.
for his national team, had a
Yes.
great career in La Liga. So yeah, not a good pick.
No, for sure.
Right,
Like
Albiol.
it was honestly like for the I mean the way like I see like a center back has to be, like good on the ball, like clean. He was I never saw him miss like two passes in a row, maybe one sometimes. Crazy. Crazy player.
Yeah.
Always the good decision.
That's it.
That's why like I think the good player, you can see the very, very good players, the decision they make on the ball every time. Like they always the right decision. Always. Amazing. Big player.
Baller,
He's not the
baller,
best
baller.
player, but for me, as a center back, I'm gonna say him. And I have his
Well,
jersey
I like
as
it.
well. My year.
Love it. I love it.
I like it. I like it. All right. Moving on swiftly. Who is the best player you've played against?
Eh, probably Donnarumma, I would say, when we were like young. He's probably the guy
Okay.
that is. I mean, he's having a good career, I would say. Like,
Yeah, you could say that.
not either.
Decent little career or whatever. Yeah, you
Didn't
know,
make
alright.
career. Because the best player can be, like a different. Like I played, for example, against a lot of players and like in the academies. But for example, like I played Moise Kean, like he was
Mm.
2 years younger than us. Came in again. He was playing at Juventus at the time. Came in, scored 2 goals, won the game for them, and he was 2 years younger. So like of course like there is but the best like in terms of like I have to judge their career because it's also different position. So Donnarumma probably the best.
Talk about a young Donnarumma. What was he like? 'Cause obviously he's massive. I remember seeing
Massive,
him when he jumped on the scene 17, 18. Was that the same when he was a kid? He was
crazy.
just an absolute
I I
unit in the goal.
actually I actually played against Donnarumma like since we were young because he's like he's from Napoli, like close to Napoli. So we played like before we went to pros academy, we had like this tournament of amateur players, the best amateur players like from academies. They do it for by region, and they need to make this tournament. I remember like I saw him. We were traveling with the boat to go to Sardinia, which where the tournament was held, and Donnarumma was like 13 years old, like huge already. But at the beginning, it was kind of shaky. At the beginning, it was kind of shaky. Like he made some mistakes. Like he wasn't like, oh, this play, what a keeper right away. Like he built himself, I have to say. Like he did very well. Well, I mean, they did very well with him at Milan for sure.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense. Okay. This is the one that trips up 95% of our guests. You're gonna lose some
Okay.
friends over this one, but it's okay. If you had to pick three teammates, past or present, to go on a night out with, who would you pick and why?
I mean, for sure, Pedro has to be there. Like, Pedro, Dolabella, He's the first guy I call if I wanna have a night out. Let me see
Oh,
the other
same,
two.
mate.
Say. Nah, what a guy. Um, damn. I wanna say, wow, we count college or not, or just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, everyone.
we count college? Damn. Then there is like this guy, I don't know, his name is Paul Hernandez, which was my teammate in Akron, Spanish guy, one of the best lad that I actually saw him in Barcelona this winter. What a guy! Like I loved him, crazy energy, like it's a guy that lights the party every time, classic Spanish guy. So him, I have to say as well. Damn. And this other guy from Akron, Federico, was an Italian guy. Federico is his name. He actually baller, playing Serie A as well, baller. And he came to US because he broke his knee, which part of
Wow.
football. Luckily, like I never been, like knock on wood, I never been like in this kind of situation. But this is another part of football that is scary. But baller, big baller in and out the field. In and out the field, let's say like this.
Hilarious. Seems like a very adventurous group. Let's say that. A very
Yeah,
adventurous group.
yeah. I don't know if we happen to get out, all these guys together. I don't know what would happen. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
want to
mate,
know.
you put two Italians, a Spaniard, a crazy Spaniard, and a crazy Brazilian together. You're not coming home.
No, it's like
Chaos.
crazy combinations. No, but
Cool.
of
And
course,
then
like sorry, but of course, like I had to choose three, but there is more. I hope all my friends don't get offended by this. Uh,
little disclaimer in there. I love it. All right, cool. Just to round us off then, a little bit more of a wholesome question. What would you say is your
yes.
biggest achievement on the pitch so far?
Mm. No, achievement in terms of like winning like stuff. You mean like or what I feel more proud of?
Yeah, let's say what you're most proud of.
I have to say like getting on the bench with Napoli. That's probably like something that is. I know I was very, very fortunate to do that, which at the time you don't even realize. At the time, I didn't even realize what I was doing. Like thinking back, like it was amazing to be at 18 years old, like traveling, like having this experience with them because I mean, it's very, very hard that I'm gonna do it again now at 27, but so and also like seeing, also like the face of my dad when I told him like, oh, I was called on the bench, and it was a very proud moment. Like I could see he was proud of me, and like is what honestly, like without my dad, probably I would never like would have make it so far because he's the one that like pushing me. Was a player as well, so he's the one that like pushing me since day one. And he was one that like he always told me like you can make it, you can make it, you can make it, Serie A, Serie A, Serie A. So when I told him, I felt very proud.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
amazing, mate.
Amazing. And it's funny how much like the achievement coupled with the family being proud has been like a theme throughout this podcast
Yeah,
for us. Is that a bunch of folks have said their biggest achievement is I did this thing and my family were able to see me do it. Or I did this thing and seeing how proud my family were like really made me feel good. So
yeah,
I think that's been a thread throughout.
yeah,
That's
mate. And
because
I
it's
love
why
that.
we
I love
play,
that.
no?
Yeah.
It's why we play. It's why we start. To make I don't know, some your dad, your grandfather proud. Uh, when you're young, like you don't start like because they're the one that introduced us to the game. So like when you start, making a name for yourself or like you make achievements, It's first of all because of them, I would say, because as I said, without these guys that pushes you, it's very hard to keep going. Um, and when you see like they're very happy while you're doing that, they're like, I don't think you're gonna find someone else more happy than you, if not your dad or your mom or yours, someone else. So
Yeah.
that's why. That's why.
No, for sure, for sure. Well, that wraps up extra time. I've been your host of the most, Don Mokes, and I'm gonna kick it back to my boy Jama to close us out.
Yeah. Thanks again, mate. Thanks again. That was superb. 10 out of 10 as always. And
I try. I try.
yeah. Just
Amazing,
keep them coming,
amazing.
mate. Just keep them coming.
Thank you.
but
Thank you.
but like Dom said, I think that's a good time for us to wrap up the show. I think this has been really good, mate. I really enjoyed this one. I knew it was going to be good but I mean, for at least not even just for the listeners, for me from a personal perspective, right? Like me, like I've always known sort of I guess from hearing from Pedro and whatever, the the short version of your story, right? And I always planned
Mm,
on, getting you on the pod because I think it's a story that needs to be heard to more people than just, you know, co-workers, shall we call it, each other in the USL system,
yeah,
right? Like I feel like, and the story that you shared there about, the realities of football sometimes, that it's not always about, how well you play that gets you a contract at the end of the season. There's so many things that go into it, and you know what, mate, like I'm just happy that you found a home down in Omaha where, you can carry on
thank you.
playing, and mate, as I said, you're a top guy. So I'm just,
Thank you so much.
thank you for coming
You
on the
too, guys.
show, and yeah, it was fun. But yeah, as I said,
Thank you
let's
so much. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you for inviting me, because this is the type of podcast that I like. As I was saying, like I never been part of like this, kind of podcast where you can chat, you can have a laugh. So it's very an interesting format that I think like you're doing great. And hopefully I can get to meet Dom in person as well, so we can have some fun together. We'll if you wanna
yeah,
come down to, I know
yeah.
for Jamil it's hard, but like if you get to US, you wanna come down to Omaha whenever you want. It's gonna be you're gonna be my guest, Dom, whatever you want.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the kind words. And yeah, I'm in Austin, so I will definitely have to try and make that trip and come see you and come see the team and see all the great things that Pedro and Jam have said about you and the rest of the
For
boys.
sure. You have my number,
Yeah.
so whenever you want, just text me.
Hey, and
Appreciate that, man.
Mila, just a little one for you as well. Dom is actually a big time DJ.
Oh my God.
So if you need someone to be the life of the party, this is your man.
We actually missing one. We missing one big time. We missing.
uh, yeah, we'll sort it out. We'll get it all sorted out. On the off season, we'll get it sorted out.
Nice, nice.
Oh, awesome. But like I said, it's a good time for us to wrap up. So, on that wholesome end to the backstick, I would just like, once again, for myself and Dom, Mila, thank you for coming on the show. For everyone who's made it to this point, you're 58 minutes into the podcast.
Legend.
Please subscribe if you're on the YouTube. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of them. Go subscribe, go like, give us a 5 stars. It's all appreciated, and we love you guys. So, without further ado, from myself, from Dom, and from Mila, that's
Thank
been the
you, guys.
backstick, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Peace.